up, world? It's your boy, Vic XL. This is the Ridin Durty Show, the Ridin Durty podcast. We bridge the gap between hip-hop and everyday life. We bring you all the movers and shakers and the people that are definitely cultivating and captivating our community and definitely doing their thing, whether it's through activism, whether it's through music, arts, authors, actors, just the people who are definitely turning the page when it comes to keeping the world next level. All right, man. I got to start the show off by saying Happy New Year's to everyone. Happy New Year's. Hopefully everyone brought the new year in a way they like. Hopefully everyone has emancipated themselves from the things that may have plagued them last year, and hopefully this year will be a better year for you. Hopefully you'll continue to chase those dreams and do your thing. All right, gotta say one time for the good people over at WRFG, as well as the good people over at WeBlazingHipHop.com. All right, definitely one time for them. I also gotta say one time for our amazing sponsors, one time for the good people over at Liquor Lollipops for definitely rocking with us. Liquor Lollipops is a premium hard candy designed to taste like your favorite alcoholic beverage. Now they got the dope flavors, man. They got the Sex on the Beach. They got the gin and juice, just to name a few, man. Make sure you visit them at liquorlollipops.com. Find out more about the premium taste of Liquor Lollipops. All right, today is January 1st. I got to run down some of my celebrity birthdays today real quick. Got to say happy birthday to R&B singer Tank. He turns 44 years old today. Got to say happy birthday to actor Morris Chestnut. He turns 51 years old today. Got to say happy birthday to Florida rapper Mr. Ball Greasy. He turns 31 years old today. Got to say happy birthday to hip-hop legend Rock and Roll Hall of Fame member, Grandmaster Flash. He turns 62 years old today. Gotta say happy birthday and rest in peace to New York rapper Mr. Tim Dog. He turns 50. He would be 53 years old today if he was still amongst us. Gotta say happy birthday to rapper and reality star Mr. Peter Guns. He turns 53 years old today. Gotta say happy birthday to legendary breakdancer and activist Crazy Legs. He turns 54 years old today. Gotta say happy birthday to founding member of the group Onyx, my man Fedro Starr. Turns 50 years old today. And last but not least, I gotta say happy birthday to St. Louis rapper Baby Huey. He turns 31 years old today. One time for everybody celebrating birthdays. If you follow any of them on social media, I always tell you guys, man, always check them out. Check out some of the music. Check out some of the past things. Check out some of the present things. And if you choose to rock with them, definitely comment in their comment box and tell them happy birthday. Let them know you heard it was their birthday on the Ridin Durty Show. All right? Now, real quick, again, man, happy birthday to everyone. Happy New Year's to everyone. New Year to everyone. You know, hopefully you slid into 2020 safely, and hopefully you will be able to accomplish and achieve all the things that you set forth to do this year. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to get right into it. All right, we have a very astute author on the line today, and I love when I talk to my authors, and I always got to ask them to give me a little bit of the book before we let them go. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Ridin Durty platform, author D.L Blackburne. What's going on, my guy?
Not much. Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, man, I'm excited to have you on the show. I love talking to authors. I love talking to people who are super sharp with that pen. The first thing I want to do is, I got to ask, what got you into literature and what got you into, what was your love for literature, the arts, and books?
I think my love for the literature and arts formed just by reading other authors and just seeing the way they can actually take words and transport myself, being a reader, to other places. I think that's kind of like, I don't want to use the word magical, but right now I can't think of another word besides that. But, it's a very magical thing when someone is able to convey their message just by, print on a page. and bring you and take their thoughts and actually transmit them into yours, where you can see the picture that they've had in their mind. I think that's rather amazing.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, you know what? Let's turn back the pages a little bit. Let the world know where D.L Blackburne is from, and who are some of your favorite authors, and who are some of the people that inspire you when it comes to literature.
Okay. Well, I'm actually from Connecticut. Although I've lived around the country, different parts of the country throughout my life. One of my favorite authors, he actually early on inspired me. He's a children's book author, which was Tommy DePaula, which I was actually was fortunate enough to meet him when I was graduating high school. He actually I won a national scholarship, and he came in and he actually delivered my not only the check for my the national scholarship, but also he gave me my diploma, my high school diploma. So author of over 200 children's books, and I was inspired by him and his work, and that kind of shaped my future going forward.
Okay. At what point in your upbringing did you decide that you could actually write books or become an author?
To be honest with you, I didn't really approach the idea of actually being an author, because actually until later in life, when I started out primarily as an illustrator and artist, and that's what I did for 22 years. And then, after having a career in that, I wanted a new challenge, and, call it a midlife crisis or whatever you want to call it. But I started reading more books, actually, as you get older, you get new experiences, and your perspective on life changes. So you delve into different books and authors. And that's why I just thought that I tried my hand at writing, and I just said, you know what, this is something on my bucket list. Let me give it a shot. And I started writing a little bit in 2016 with the idea I had of the book I had. And, from there, it kind of developed.
All right. Now, being an illustrator, what skill set were you able to transcend from being an illustrator to becoming an author?
Well, I think the process is the same, except one is working with physical pictures, and being an illustrator, you're working with line work, and you're not really having to. It's still work to get the viewer to bring them into your vision, but it's kind of there ready made for them. Whereas if you're just working, as a writer, you've kind of got to set the scene yourself and do words, which it's a little more involved. And because I'm not naturally or a writer, I wasn't as experienced with it. It's kind of more challenging. But that's what I was looking for, as I go into the second part of my life, as a new challenge, which I do enjoy.
All right. When you actually decided to write or pen your first book, what was your thought process, and what was the time you put into writing it, as far as from the beginning to the completion?
Okay. Well, the when I first started the concept for the book my very first book that I wrote, which is in a series called Office School, that idea came just off of being in and around pens and working with familiarity with pens and just using them throughout my life. And it just came up between just one day writing a list, and I just thought, I came up with the concept, well, this is a very familiar object, you're pretty much widely used, and they're in every person's home. And I just came up with a concept of like, what would happen to this pen that I actually had in my hand? How did it come to be? And like, because it was a random pen I pulled out of a junk drawer, and what was the journey from there? Because it was purchased at a store at some point, or and how did it get there amongst other random objects? So that was a rough idea for it, and I kind of fleshed it out over the next year and a half to kind of make it work. Where it would be interesting to people. And over the time that I was writing it, you have self-doubt, you have doubt, because you're kind of like, well, is this feasible? It's a pen, and, I threw it around to other people, to other family members and stuff, which, family and friends, and, they're supportive, which is not always a good indicator on a project, And some family members are more honest than others if it's a idea that won't work. But I really got my first test when I got it reviewed, and I got positive feedback from it, which kind of gives you a little bit of it's rewarding, because you know that the time that you spent on the project, if anything, that's what you do it for. That is, from people who are not related to you and don't have a vested interest or stake in the game, that they can give you that unbiased feedback.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, tell me a little bit about your first offering, because I know Office Pool is a series. Tell me a little bit about Office Pool, the Office Pool series, and the first offering of Office Pool.
Okay, well, the first book is kind of like origin story. It kind of sets up. It just lays out the characters, and when writing the book, it's kind of Pixar-ish. If anybody, I know millions of people are familiar with Pixar and their films. It's kind of like that, where it's you have the character who's Artie Bickerson, named after like a roughly named after, loosely based off of a Bic pen, and he has a mentor who's Stanley Scribes, which is helps him move through the world of the office, the politics of the office, and in the office there's a hierarchy. There's kind of like different races and classes of pens, so there's different biases, like in real life. And his mentor kind of teaches him the ropes on how to navigate and how to get ahead. And he's kind of a loner, and he's kind of not a drifter. And as he learns his way through the world and gains confidence. He has a lot of success. It comes really fast and almost too fast. But he kind of learns to deal with it the best he can, because he's young. And he finds love along the way. It's really a tale. It's really kind of like a tale, much like stuff that any reader would encounter, that we go through in everyday life. It's just told through the eyes of a pen. But that world that I set the stage for, they have it has its own lingo, and throughout the book, there's a preface in the beginning of the book that tells you where you can kind of get into the mold of their world, because through the next 3-4 books, you want to kind of be in that mindset. So that's kind of what the first book is about, and it's really engaging, and no profanity, where I must say. And it's kind of it's pretty much for like all ages, because I was careful to write it where I didn't want to pigeonhole it for just one demographic or one group of people.
Okay, what made you, when you started to write this story, what made you say, I want to make Office Pool a series?
Well, I was when I was making the story, I just you know, it was just a couple of ideas. Now I didn't even know if it was a whole book yet. But as I got into it, and as I was reading other authors and how their styles of writing, and I the material started pouring out and the ideas, and you know, it started to come to me. And before I knew it, I had a pretty sizable book, and I had my brother, who's actually a writer. I just had him take a look at it, and he looked at it, you know, after a couple of me, you know, trying to get him to do it a couple of times, and he finally reviewed it. He looked at it, and he's like, you know, you could probably stop it right here, you know, because you know it's a lot, you know. So I stopped it. I cut the book in half, and kind of, you know, I cut the book in half, and so that's the first book, Office School Orientation. And I kind of, at the end of that, I kind of rounded it off where I stopped it, just so it would be more like a cliffhanger.
Okay.
But, you know, it could stand alone as it was, and it leads into the second book, which is, you know, the following book, which is, will be available in July 4th. But yeah, that's how I wrote the book. I had enough material for the first two books, and then I'm currently working on 3 and 4 as we speak, just to make it a nice even 4 for the series.
Okay. All right. Now, what was it like once the project was finished? What was it like for you when it came time to publish, decide on a publisher or how to publish the book?
Well, and the way that it slide, how I decided that was, I was contacted by a few publishers, but they kind of wanted to say on the covers and a couple other things they wanted to say on, you know, they were interested in the product, and they contacted me throughout, but there were certain things they wanted changed about the covers, and I you know, I guess the way I had a vision for how I wanted it, and I didn't really want to compromise that, because I think the covers are kind of what the mock-ups they did, I wasn't too pleased with, and you know, being an artist and stuff, and it just didn't represent the book the way I thought it would be. So I just started investigating. I'm, you know, maybe I could go it alone and go out and publish it myself. And I ended up doing the covers myself, and yeah, and I ended up going the self-publishing route, which I don't regret. You know, I think, you know, just try to stay true to the vision that I had.
Okay.
That's what I had to do. So.
Okay. Now, going the self-published route, will you be doing hard copies, or will it only be available in the ebook format?
It is available. When I launched it in November, it's available in just the ebook format. But now, as of 2020, it's available in hardcover and physical book, you know, formats. Yeah.
Okay, no doubt. Now, let's talk a little bit about the availability. How can people get their hands on it? Where can they pick it up at? Is there a website? Tell us a little bit about social media and how people can possibly get in touch with you.
Okay. Well, for me, I'm on social media. It's Instagram and Twitter. Author D.L Blackburne is that's the name they can find me under. And also the book is available if you have, you know, Apple products in their Apple store. It's available on blurb.com, and it's also available on Amazon. So it's available in those three locations that they can get the book.
Okay. Now, how has the internet affected your career at this point as an author? Has it been a help or a hurt?
Well, I think it certainly has been a useful tool. It's been definitely been a help. Just connecting with other writers in the community, and just also readers and even book reviewers who've given that feedback. Without the internet, that would not be possible. Because you're just in touch with a variety of different people, and for all the bad that's on the web, there's also those useful tools for entrepreneurs and people who have creative abilities or who aspire to chase their dreams. So I definitely would say it's been a help. It's been more of a help than anything.
All right, now what would be your words of advice to future authors out there who want to self-publish?
I think, in terms of like self-publishing is, if you're really willing to put in the work and do the research and promote yourself, I think anybody who has drive can do it. If you have a clear vision and a plan to execute something, I really think that, I think if you're thinking of going along that way, then, anybody can do it. They put their mind to it. I know that's generic advice, but it just rings true. Some things, you hear them over and over again, but that's because they're true.
Okay. All right. Last question. Before we close this interview out, I would like for you to give me an excerpt from the book to let the people know what they'll be digesting.
Okay. So I have a page up for the book, and this is let's see, this is Stan, a mentor, giving the main character Artie. He's just Artie sees his love interest across the room. It's the end of the day, and this is him just seeing his love interest in the book at first sight. So this is chapter 7. It's called A Daydreamer's Aspirations, and it's the Grady residence AM. Artie is on the edge of the desk, looking across the room towards the nightstand. Stan quietly approaches, now standing beside Artie. Careful, lad. Don't want to see you floor faded. I've seen so many pens and pencils tumble off there, never to be seen again. Artie, now stepping back, fearful of a floor fade death, moves safely away from the edge. Artie is staring longingly aback across the room towards the nightstand, where he sees his sleek, stylish Claire on the other side of the room, gliding across the tablet as a soft glow from the screen reflects off her metallic shaft. Now aware of what Artie is staring at, Stan smirks and puts his arm around the kid and says, "She's just visiting, lad. Don't get too attached. You Bickersons always want what's out of your league. Your dad had that same look when he saw your mother. You write, print, and scribble shorthand. She, on the other hand, writes cursive and knows calligraphy." As Artie glances at Stan with disappointment and confusion, Stanley takes a deep breath and chuckles. "Oh, what the heck, lad? I'll introduce you. Scribbles, I know, Stan, and calligraphy. I have excellent penmanship. And what about my folks? How do you know her? I have so many questions." And Stanley says to him, "Easy, lad. Don't get all scribbly on me. Relax. I'll answer all your inquiries. But first things first. Put your cap on tight, and I'll arrange the meeting." And then and that's the end of that particular scene.
All right. Real quick, before we close it out, let them know how to get their hands on Office Pool.
You can get Office Pool on Amazon, the website Amazon, blurb.com, and Apple Store for
all right,
ebook or physical book.
All right. Author D.L Blackburne, thank you for being on the show. We'll definitely keep us posted as the series progresses. All right?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right,
I will.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was author D.L Blackburne, author of the series Office Pool. All right, y'all definitely visit Amazon.com. Check out that Office Pool. This is your boy Vic Excel. This is Ridin Durty Radio, and this is the Ridin Durty Radio podcast. You guys have a wonderful night. We'll see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. All right, peace.